How's it going, guys? Today we're going to talk about sleep and why I thought for the past at least 19 days that I have been getting enough sleep, and yesterday I decided I haven't been. 9 to 5 is basically my working job and my sleeping job because I work 9 to 5 and I sleep 9 to 5. But if I go to bed at 9 and get out of bed at 5, I'm not giving myself enough time to actually get 8 hours sleep. 7 to 8 hours, yes, and that is optimal, but I'm going to experiment this week with getting up at 6 o'clock instead to decide whether it affects the time I go to sleep and if it just gives me an extra hour of sleep or not. I have pretty much optimized going to sleep and not struggling to fall asleep by cutting out all of technology or overstimulation. Like, I'll reply to a text if I have to, but basically after work I go to the gym, I come home, I eat, I read, and then I go to bed. So there's no use of like phones or screens between finishing work and going to sleep. That helps wind me down. Gym might be a tough one because that really pumps me up, but that's why I haven't been able to get to sleep until after 9. But I'm hoping getting up at 6 o'clock instead of 5 o'clock doesn't stop me from going to sleep at 9. If it does, I will just go back to doing 9 to 5, but I'm going to do 9 to 6 now and track my sleep and show you guys what difference it makes. So I'll show you the past month. This is what my sleep has been like. So as you can see, I'm getting 6 to 7 hours instead of 7 to 8 hours. This is why I think getting up at 6 o'clock instead of 5 o'clock is going to change that, because I clearly have not got enough time in bed. 8 hours in bed is not enough to get 7 hours sleep. I basically spend most of the night, or an hour and a half of the night, not sleeping and just laying there tossing and turning, which is, I'm not going to flex on that. That's probably not that good, but I still think that I optimized my getting to sleep compared to how I used to be 10 years ago. I would lay there. You might be like this too. Basically, if you get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, you're like, okay, so if I want to get up at 8 o'clock, then I need to go to bed or go to sleep at midnight to get 8 hours. So come that night, it's midnight, you're not tired at all, you're tossing and turning until maybe 2 or 3 a.m, then you fall asleep, and then you sleep in. But if you set your alarm for 8 o'clock, you do that anyway, you get up, you have another full day of being tired until you hit midnight again, where you think, okay, I'll go to sleep now and get up at 8, but then you're still tossing and turning. Even though you're tired, you still can't get to sleep. So I struggled with that for a long time because I was playing League of Legends before bed and watching YouTube and getting distracted. So I used to think, oh, okay, I can't go to sleep unless I've got something on in the background like YouTube, but that was a very hard habit to get out of, because you go from having background noise to having complete silence, and you got to make sure your brain is trained well for that. So what I did was make a routine of meditation in the morning. Basically what this does is it trains your brain to be able to realize when it's thinking about nonsense. So if you meditate in the morning, it reflects to when you're laying in bed in silence, because you can look at all of your thoughts and say, oh, I don't want to think about that, I'll think about that later. Or let's not think about that, let's focus on my breath instead. So when I'm laying in bed and then troubling thoughts enter my mind that will stop me from sleeping, like something that happened with a girl in high school, or you know, a teacher or like some weird misunderstanding that never got confirmed or clarified, it's gonna keep me up a bit longer. So I just go, think about that later, add that to the later thoughts. Like, you have your whole life to think. So why stress about thinking about what you want to think about now when you can just think about it later? Because you have forever, you have a whole life. Say you're in your 30s, you've got 60 years to think, and especially when you're retired, you're going to do a lot of thinking. So why don't you just save some of the thoughts for later? That's my advice. And if you do this, you can get to sleep earlier, so you can get up earlier. But also getting up consistently like I was at 5 o'clock, or I was actually getting up at 4:50 to get down here before 5 to record the video. I know that my body is basically in this routine now of getting up early, so I couldn't quite get up at 6 today. My body clock is going to get me up. But I still don't think I got between 7 and 8 hours sleep. Therefore, I will start aiming for a 6 o'clock alarm instead of 5 o'clock or 4:50 and go from there. And I'll get the results back to you guys on next Wednesday, because that's when I have a full day to analyze how I'm feeling. Usually on Wednesdays I'm just absolutely knackered in the afternoon or pretty tired. So that's why I've come to this conclusion. I'm also on day 31 or 32 of the carnivore diet, which is supposed to give me energy levels that are stable throughout the day and more focus, less brain fog, and it hasn't been working. So I'm blaming sleep now. So we've got diet, tick, exercise, tick, sleep, not tick, baseline dopamine levels. I want to say tick because I haven't been overstimulating myself with social media and video games. So sleep, we just got to figure you out. And then if it's not sleep, then I need to get medicated. So that's what we're looking forward to this week. Thanks for listening, guys. I'm actually very grateful this morning for our ability to smell. I'm grateful for our noses and our smelling system, because you can tell when there's stinky people around and you can run away from them. That's not very serious. I'm grateful for our sense of smell, because think about all the things that are important to smell. When a food is not good to eat, you smell it and it smells bad, you know not to eat it. That's probably the best thing that smells good for. Yeah, smelling when there's some poo around or something rotten, so you can throw it out. If you couldn't smell, you could just like walk past some poo and think it's chocolate or something, or some rubbish, and then leave it there, and then it gets all gross. And anyway, that's a terrible thing to talk about. I'm just tired. Nah, I'm alright. Anyway, thanks guys. Catch us in the next one.